G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome to the vlog. A little bit of a different one here, one I've wanted to do for a while, and that's for first timers going to the casino, playing poker, and not looking like a complete newbie. It's pretty easy to go to the casino, and the new players, the good players, they'll tell a new player straight away. If you're new to my vlogs, my name's Mark. I'm an ex-poker dealer for 10 years and been playing poker pretty much all my life, but really only got back into it seriously the last few years. So maybe check out some of my other vlogs, a few hand reviews and things about poker that might help you out. But yeah, the main part of the point to this vlog is to make it so that when you rock up at that casino, you don't look like a complete fish. It can be pretty daunting rocking up there that first time. You got all these blokes in the poker room, and you rock up there, you're not too sure what to do and how the blinds work and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully this will help you out. For you guys that follow the vlog that are experienced players, maybe just check through it anyway and see what you think. And there's probably a few bits that I've missed out, so leave it in the messages there if you think there's something else that can be added on that's going to help the new players out. So let's go. So first bit is you rock up there, go to the rail, see what's happening, check on the board, see what size games are. Obviously you're going to be playing the smallest game, so most of the examples I'm going to give you are going to be from the Adelaide Casino in South Australia, but there's plenty of people there to help you out. Go and talk to the poker room manager. There's usually a couple of supervisors walking around too. Call them over, ask them how it all works, the size of the game, what the buy-ins are, how the blinds work, and that's going to be a good start for you to get going. So you eventually get to the table and you've got to buy in. These smaller games, I like to buy in for the full amount. Adelaide Casino, the 2-2 game, which means it's a $2 small blind, and it's also a $2 big blind, which can be a little bit confusing to people who have been playing a 1-2 game or a 2-4. So, but it just means the small blind and the big blind are both the same. Minimum buy-in is $50, maximum is $300. I always like to buy in for the max. If I get a good hand, I want to be able to have a crack at getting all their money. Some of the regs, the older regs and that, they might just buy in for the 150. That way they're a bit worried if they get caught out and they have to go all in, they're only going to lose 150. So up to you. If you're going to buy in though, definitely don't do it anything under at least half price, 150. I still think that's too low, but if that's what you want to buy in for and you're worried about someone putting you all in and you're not too sure what to do, you might save a bit of money that way. But it's up to you, but definitely don't come along and buy in for $50, $80. That's how you can tell it's a new player. They've come off the floor, they've been playing blackjack, roulette, whatever it is, and they want to have a bit of a crack at poker. They've had a few beers, they sit down with $80 or $50. It's just not enough. Sometimes you can fluke it and win a couple of hands, but if you buy in for $50, you're really only going to get a couple of cracks at it. So I suggest you buy in for as much as you can. If you can't afford more than $50 or more than $100, maybe save up, come back in a few weeks' time when you can. So when you first sit down, if you're not in the big blind position or close to it, or even any position besides being the big blind, you're going to have to post. So posting just means if you want to play, you're going to have to put the same amount out as the big blind. You only have to do that once just to get you into the game. So let's say the blind button is at seat 1 and you're sitting around at seat 8. The dealer will say to you, would you like to post? And a lot of the times they don't bloody explain what posting is or what's going on. So that just means if you want to play in the hand and get dealt cards, you have to put $2 out, the same amount as the big blind, and then you're right to get cards. After that one, you won't have to put any more money out until the big blind gets around to you. If you're close to the big blind, maybe you're just 2 to the left, 1 to the left of the big blind, maybe sit back, say, yeah, I'll wait for the big blind, and then just put your big blind out. That way you can get to see a couple of hands, see how it works, see how the betting works. But hopefully you've been watching over the rail anyway, and you already know what's going on. If you happen to come in at the small blind position, you're going to have to sit out the whole hand, because it's just the way it works. You can't have the bloke to your left being big blind twice, so you might have to sit out. But the dealer will let you know, and then you'll be able to come in the next hand. You'd be on the button then, and to play, you'd have to post. You'd have to put $2 in just that one time, and then you're right to go. So you've sat down now, and you've got to put your blinds in. Know how the blinds work. If it's a 1-2 game, know how it works. The two players, obviously to the left of the blind button or the dealer button, have to put the blinds in. I know everyone should know that, but people get there and the dealer's always asking them, your blind in, put your blind in, $2 for your blind. And get there, but concentrate on the game, know what's happening. When the button gets 2 to your right, chuck your $2 in. Like I said, Adelaide Casino, the smallest game, 2-2, so it's a $2 big blind, $2 small blind. So keep your eye on how the game's going. New players that don't know what they're doing always get asked to put their blinds in. So concentrate on the game and be one step ahead. Get those blinds in. Last week when I was in the casino, new player sat down. He ended up posting. He was about 2 to the left of the big blind, but didn't really know what was going on. The dealer said, oh, you've got to put $2 if you want to play. So he chucked the $2 in. It came around to him. I think there was 2 checks, and then it came around to him, and he looked at his cards and just chucked them in. Dealer didn't say a word to him. Didn't realise that he's got the $2 in, so he doesn't have to put in again. So that way, if it checked all the way around and no more raises, he would have got to see the flop without putting any extra money in. About 2 hands later, he's the big blind. Same thing happened. It checked all the way back around to him, and he looks at his cards, chucked them in. Dealer looked at him like he's a bit dumb or something, grabbed his cards, didn't say a bloody word to him. As soon as that hand finished, I just said to the player, look, mate, probably a lot of players don't want me telling you this, but when you've got your blind in, if it flat calls around to you and you don't have to put any more in, you can get to see the flop for free or for your $2. And he didn't know, and I sort of hinted that the dealer probably should have told you that, and the dealer looked at me like I was some kind of idiot. The dealers sometimes piss me right off. Dealer should have been explaining to the guy what's going on. These people come in, they don't know what's happened, all of a sudden they've lost their 80, $100. We never see them again. They won't come back. But if you try and help them out, so if you're a player there and you're experienced, let the new ones know what's going on. You want them coming back again. You want more players there. So just one of the things that pisses me off sometimes about some of the dealers at the Adelaide Casino. And the other thing, once you get going, I'm not here to teach you how to play. You're going to learn that yourself. Go back and watch some other vlogs with the hand reviews, and you'll get to sort of know what hands you should be playing and how to read your cards and that, and know the value of your cards, which is probably the most important thing to learn. But basically, what most new players do, they get in there and they start playing way too many hands. So you need to tighten up a little bit while you're sitting there and learning. A lot of casinos will have a straddle bet that you can do. A lot of them, it's different at every casino where you can put the straddles. I think there's some in America where you can straddle on the button. Adelaide Casino, you can straddle under the gun. So it can be double what the blind is. So in the 2-2 game, someone can straddle to $4. And if the person left of them want to straddle again, it doubles up to $8. The guy to his left can go 16. The guy to his left can go 32. So that's how the straddle works at the Adelaide Casino. Quite often you'll get a $4 straddle, maybe an $8 straddle. Just know what it is. When you see people doing it, know what is meant by a straddle. Don't get sucked into experienced players to your left saying, oh, you want to put a $4 straddle in, because as soon as you put the $4 in, they'll put an $8 in. So just say, no, I don't straddle. Maybe when you get more experience, do it, but I'm not a real straddle person. Every now and again I'll do it to keep the table happy if everyone's doing it, but I don't see any advantage of straddling. Okay, you're last to make a decision, that's about it, but a lot of the time it doesn't seem to work. But main thing, don't get sucked into other people telling you to straddle. If you don't want to straddle, just don't straddle. They'll stop annoying you after a while when they realise that you're not going to straddle. But it's just handy to know what's happening on the table when you see someone, maybe you're big blind and you see someone putting $4 out before the cards are dealt. At least you know what he's doing. Usually the dealer will say live $4 straddle, so everyone on the table will know what's happening. Another bit of annoying thing I noticed with a lot of new players, when they want to go to the toilet, they want to go for a break, they want to go outside and have a smoke, whatever they're doing, and they might be in the under the gun position, they just get up and leave. That means they've missed their big blind, they missed their small blind. When they get back, they've got to put the $4 out to cover themselves. If you're going to go into a break, I usually play the blind button out because it's the best position to play any poker hand, because you're in the last position to act. So I usually play my blind out, then I'll go and have a break. If you go and have a break, then you've usually got 10-15 minutes before the blinds get around to you, so you've got plenty of time, and then you won't have to worry about putting your $4 in for missing a big blind and a small blind. Another thing that gives a new players away is they sort of panic a bit when they let's say they've got $100 buying for $100 and they got all $5 chips and they've got to put $2 blinds in. They're looking around, oh, I haven't got $2, what do I do? Just chuck the $5 out there. That's what the dealer's for. He will give you change when he's ready. So don't worry too much about that. If you're in another position and it's $2 to play, you just want a flat call, you just chuck $5 in. If you chuck $5 in and don't say a word, it means it's just a call if that's all you've got, if that's your smallest chip. Best thing to do though is just say what you're going to do. Chuck your $5 in and say call. Can stop a lot of arguments. That's the same when you're raising as well. It's best to just call out the amount you're going to bet. So while we're here, we might as well talk about string bets. If you grab a heap of chips and you want to raise, say $50, and you grab 10 $5 chips and you go to put them on the table and the bottom one drops out, they're very strict at Adelaide with that being a string bet, so they're only going to take it as a $5 bet. So best thing to do when you're going to bet, tell them raise $50 or whatever you're going to do. That way you're covered. You've got no chance of doing a string bet then and stuffing it up. I do notice a lot on TV over in Europe and that they chuck their money out and looks like half of them are string betting most of the time. So it varies at a lot of different casinos, but very strict with their string bets at Adelaide. So best thing to do, call out what you want to do. If you want to call, just tell them you're going to call. If you've got to put say a $100 chip out and the bet's 50, just tell them call. So that's the easiest way. Another little one here where the dealers don't seem to explain it to new players. Let's say we're in the 2-2 game, the dealer will go around and say 2 to play, 2 to play. There might be a new player sat down, he's got $100 again, just $5 chips, and the dealer says 2 to play. They're all a bit nervous, not too sure what's going on. They think he means 2 chips, so they grab 2 $5 chips, chuck it out, and the dealer says raise to $8. The new player sits there and he's got to make out, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but you can tell by their face that they didn't know what was happening. So be careful if you're sitting down and the dealer says 2 to play, they mean the dollars, not the amount of chips. So you've probably been used to playing your home games or some of the pub games, and it's a little bit Mickey Mouse. Betting out of turn is a big thing in the casino. Do everything in turn. Don't fold out of turn. Wait until it's your turn. Don't bet out of turn. Keep your eye on the game so you know what's happening. It's another big giveaway that you're a new player when you start chucking your cards in way out of turn when you want to fold, or even calling way out of turn. Besides it making you look like you don't know what you're doing, you're also giving away to the other players beforehand what's happening, so they know you're going to play, so it gives them a little bit more on what's happening in the hand, so they can maybe change their decision or if you put a bet out too early, that bet's going to stand. So he could come around and re-raise you. So yeah, just try and do everything in turn. Another little thing to do, you get to a showdown and you're not too sure what's happening. Turn your cards up. Let the dealer have a look. Might be a guy there with 3 of a kind and you think, oh, he's won, and you're umming and ahhing and you chuck your cards in. There's a lot of times where I've been people turn their cards over thinking they've lost, and all of a sudden there's a flush or something that they haven't noticed. So if you're not too sure, turn your cards face up. Let the dealer have a look. That's his job. He can tell if there's a little straight you might have got that you've missed, something like that. So just turn your cards up, let the dealer sort it out if you're not 100%. Also, just simple things like folding. You get blokes there and they've got their cards they want to fold. Well, what do I do now? Well, where do I put them? What happens? Just chuck them to the dealer face down. So I know this one sounds a bit of a stupid one, but I see it all the time where new players got no idea what they to do when they fold. So just chuck your cards, watch what the other players do, slide them to the dealer face down, job's done. And another one which you all should know, but a lot of new players sit there, they've got a good hand and they've only got 30 or 40 bucks left. There's a raise of $80 and they don't know what to do. Remember, no one can scare you off the pot or put you off the pot because they put more money out. You can just go all in for the amount you've got and they will start up a separate pot for everyone else. Rule for taking your chips off the table, you can get up and leave whenever you want to. So you win a pot after 10 minutes, you can get up and go. As for handing money to your mate or something who's on the rail, you're not allowed to take any chips off the table. You can use chips on the table to buy drinks and food and stuff through the waiters, but you can't take it off the table. You can't have a good run and you've got a couple of black chips, couple $100 chips. You can't be sneaking them off the table and putting them in your pocket. So your chips have got to stay on the table. If you want to give your mate some money, you're going to have to finish up at that table, go and take all your chips off, give him whatever he wants, and then maybe come back 10 minutes later. But yeah, no taking chips off the table except for the waiter. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you're a new player and you're about to have a crack, it should help you a little bit. If you've got any other mates that are about to go to the casino and have a crack, let them know, share it with them. Your experience, guys. If you see anything that I've missed out on, let me know in the comments. And if anyone else has got any more questions, leave them in the comments. Big shout out to Matthew. I think it was Matthew, the first subscriber that's come up to me in the casino. He didn't play, he came up to the rail, made contact with me, we had a bit of a chat. So good to see you, Matthew. Young guy, hadn't been playing long, so I'm hoping this might help him a bit. So if you like it, share it out there, let your mates know, subscribe, check out my other vlogs if it's your first time here, and we'll catch you guys real soon.